Sorry, everyone. My absence has been because I've been trying to fit in my brain the words to express the thoughts and the insights that I have received in the last month or so. This is an attempt to try to put those thoughts into words, but whenever you take something that is a conceptual idea and try to put it into words or text, you really only get, at best, maybe 75-80% out of what you're trying to say. So that being said, this is my attempt to record said thoughts. Now that I'm approaching the end of my yaorahe, I am synthesizing the lessons I have learned so far in this year. For one, the root of 99.9% of my problems has been exposed to me finally. The challenge is that when truth is revealed, to not react to it. The truth is the truth, no matter how we feel about it. But many times when confronted with the truth, our instinctual gut reaction is to reject it, have cognitive dissonance, and try to back away from objective reality. Enlightenment is seeing and accepting the truth, seeing and accepting objective reality, and so-called gurus and teachers and spiritual enlightenment coaches, most of them are not enlightened. They're on the path to be so. Most of us live in a projection of sorts in their minds. We seek projections. We are surrounded by projections. The constructed human world we live in is a projection for our comfort. For example, in the honeymoon period of dating, we project our best selves and we look for the projection of our ideal mate. No one is actually falling in love during this period because no one is actually seeing the other person. Illusions, projections, smoke and mirrors. Eventually you meet the real person. When you live with them and they fart in bed, or when they do that annoying thing you hate, or when they treat you how they would when no longer trying to impress you. Then you're at a crossroads of choice. This is the moment where you either cling to your illusion and demand the other person act as the projection that you, quote, fell in love with, or accept this is the real person and actually fall in love with them, warts and all, or walk away because reality didn't meet your expectations. It didn't meet the fantasy of your projection. The clarity Obatala has shown me is objective reality. If we can get out of our heads the internal dialogue of programmed projections and stop listening to the inner critic, we discover we have more power than we think we do and more control over our lives than we've ever been fathomable for us to think. This is the moment when we hear spirit. The voice in your head telling you you're garbage, you're not good enough, you're not doing enough, is not your worry. That is a projection, either from society at large. Daniel Quinn would call that voice mother culture. Or it is the ghosts that live in your head from a trauma that has happened to you, like if you had cluster B parents or something. Or it is the voice of your depression or whatever, talking to you, trying to keep you away from seeing the objective reality and living your life in the moment. And in Buddhism, that voice is Mara. That is the illusion that tries to tempt you away from seeing objective reality. So, if you've ever had a moment where you cannot be alone with your thoughts, that you have to have music in the background, or you have to constantly be doing something, or you have to constantly be being with people and talking to people and seeking approval from people, the job that you have might even not even be the job you really wanted. It's something you did to seek the approval of the parent that lives in your head, and not the thing that your 4-year-old internal child self wanted to do. When I was a child, I always wanted to be a priest. I always wanted to do art. I always was interested in IT. I always wanted to seek nature and, be that old wizened wizard who lives in the forest. I wanted to be Merlin, basically. And that did not sit well with the people around me. In the first grade, my art teacher told me I should stop doing art because I couldn't draw a clean line to her specifications. And I listened, and I internalized that damage. And I'm just now at 40 starting to draw again. Not because I'm trying to make a career out of it, not because I'm trying to impress anybody, just drawing because I like it. What possesses a person to shit on another person's joy? That's the evil eye. That's the malo ojo right there. But, I started working in healthcare not because I wanted to, but to please other people, to please my partner at the time, to please my dad in my head, But all of that's really toxic. None of that has anything to do with me. And in the cosmology that we run in, we are born with a destiny, and we are born with our own lives and our own caminos and our own path, and it doesn't look like anyone else's path. This linear thinking of being born, having your shit together by 20, finding a mate at 25-ish or whatever, having a family, having a baby, having a career, retiring and living in an RV, that one-size-fits-all path doesn't fit most people at all. And then we shit on ourselves when we don't meet the expectation of a projection that's not even our projection. That's commercialized projection. That has nothing to do with us. So, there's an archetype that I want to explore, and it's the idea of the guru on the mountain. People have a false idea of the guru on the mountain. They think, okay, I need to find wisdom. I'm going to go talk to the guru on the mountain, and he's going to answer all my questions, and I'm going to give him presents or whatever, and I'm going to come back down to the village and know my shit. And I think that's also kind of the projection that we put on spiritual authority figures that we have. You know, I can't tell you how many card readers and, you know, Iya so-and-so and Awo so-and-so and Babalao so-and-so and Big Witch Hoobity-Hoo so-and-so on TikTok or whatever. Pick a platform. You know, buy this, buy that, do this, do that. And they're not really doing anything but taking your money. And I say this because you don't go to the guru on the mountain and get wisdom and come down. You are the guru on the mountain. You leave the minutia and the projections of the village to go to the mountain, to shut everything away, to turn the noise off, to not listen to the expectations of society and your parents and your lovers and all the constructed ideas and archetypes, and you literally go away from everything and you crawl into your own head. You clear out the garbage. You evict the voice in your head that is not your Ori. And in that moment, when everything's quiet and you're only there with you, your real you, and your Ori, what's left? What do you really want to do? What actually makes you happy? Who are you really? That is the scary, courageous work you have to do. And people are so afraid of that quietness that they will do everything in their power and indulge in any kind of bodily desire and take all the kinds of drugs to not have to sit there and face the objective truth of who they are and what they actually want out of life. And your life is ticking by every second. After the guru on the mountain finds their answer, then they rejoin society. Not to fix society, but so that way they can live in the world as themselves, regardless of society. And in a initiatory practice, this is what elders are supposed to be for. They're supposed to give you the tools to help you climb the mountain so you can spend time by yourself to make these revelations by yourself, for yourself. It's not about getting titles and degrees so that way you can sell tchotchkes to people. You know, the commercialization of spirituality has been going back centuries to when we started selling indulgences in Catholic Church, so that way you can get out of jail free and do sin for the week as long as you give enough money to the church. It's like, stop. All that is projections, illusionary nonsense, and regardless of your spiritual path, you gotta pick a way to get to that mountain that makes sense to you and your inner self, higher self, childlike self, your Ori, whatever you want to call that thing. And once you have that clarity, you have to use it and come back into the world with new eyes. You have to fight against the peer pressure to conform back into the minutia of the collective who are still sleeping.